Hello and welcome to another hot and sweaty edition of Tasty Classics. In tonight's episode, I've made a mistake. Doesn't want to start. Oh, yikes. Look at that. Indicate that way. Yikes. What is happening? Why is the temperature gauge going up? I have 5 days left in which to restore my Suzuki SJ410 Jeep. And we left it in the last episode that I just drove it into the back of my Ford F250 just to see if it fitted, just for fun, because I was losing my mind ever so slightly. But now I have to take it up. If it looks like there's still loads left to do, well, I mean, that's because there is. And once all that is done, we've got to make sure that the electrics work on this thing, because I know there's some dodgy things going on with it. That light is on all the time, and when you press the brakes, this indicator lights up. I don't know what's causing that. I guess we're going to have to find out, because this thing's then going to have to go down for an MOT so we can legally drive it on the roads. Don't skip forward to see if we've done it. Not allowed to do that. Stop it, I can see you. Bit of choke. Okay. Easy. Four-wheel drive low. Right off! Yeah! They pull these things in the world's strongest man competitions, by the way, just in case you didn't know. I don't think they do. Much bigger, heavier cars. It was then time to start fitting some parts to get them off the floor, and this freshly painted steering wheel was super easy to fit, and it gets a 1 out of 5 on the Tasty Classics difficulty rating for fitting. Looks very nice now though, after a lick of paint, doesn't it? I also found out that the horn doesn't work. More on that later. I then moved on to the spare wheel carrier, which again gets a 1 out of 5 on the Tasty Classics difficulty rating. Next up, it was the turn of the new battery, the battery clamp, and the negative cable for the battery, which had been snapped. I don't know how, but it was snapped, so I had to replace that one. This one gets a slightly tougher rating of 2.5 Tasty Classics, and the reason for being for why is that it's a little bit convoluted, and it's got an 063 battery in it now, where it should have had a different one before, so I had to get some studio modifications onto the battery clamp to make it fit, which was just essentially hitting it with a hammer, which fixes everything. But it worked perfectly afterwards, and the cable was pretty straightforward, but you know, it's just a case of screwing a couple of bits down onto a big wire and stuff. Not that hard. It was then a chance to get the floor of the car put back to spec, so I put a couple of rubber bungs back in the big holes, shored up with a little bit of tiger seal because they were a little bit crusty around the edges. So I put those bungs back in and then put all the floor mats back in. Again, super straightforward and easy, just a case of clipping everything back into place. In order to stop my dog, Sonny, being turned into mashed potato, I had to get the cage bolted down so it didn't fly around in the back of the car. And that involved just repurposing some old brackets, bending the end of them so it would clamp the cage down, bolting them into the original seat mounts. Not a difficult job, but it does get 1.5 Tasty Classics difficulty points. I wanted Matty to get the seats bolted into the car, but first I needed to just put a couple of little blobs of weld on one of the seat rails where it had snapped. So again, super straightforward. Anyone with a welder could put a couple of blobs of weld on something. Didn't need to dress them up, just gave them a lick of paint and a load of grease to free everything up inside. Did that on all the rails and are now absolutely spot on. Tidy. Things are progressing at a rate of knots, but we've got a couple of jobs and a couple of thinky jobs. I don't like the thinky jobs. So while I'm doing that, Matty's got stuck in. So just sanding these bits down, taking the knobs off so we can polish it, the knobs. We're just going to paint these, give these things a paint, and then get a bit of stuff around the glove box and things and just make it look a little bit cleaner. Because these, I mean, look at the floors and stuff, they look so nice, and these mats look so nice. Dog cage, you know, all bolted down, it just looks epic. It's really, really smart. It's going to come together really nicely in here. But I've got a thinky job to do. Let's have a look at it. This is the windscreen surround that I bought from the breaker's yard, and it needs some repair work. All the way along here, there's rust and big rust holes. And the problem with that is that we need to be able to pop the roof onto these. So the roof's gonna come over and it's gonna go pop like that, brilliant. At the moment though, the roof doesn't actually have any of these popper bits, but thankfully, when I did the Spitfire ages ago, I bought this pop riveting kit, so I do have stuff that I can rivet onto that roof, which will pop into place just like that, and it will hold the roof steady while we do, you know, 90 mile an hour along the motorway. I'm joking, it will never ever do 90 mile an hour, maybe the wind behind it. Down a hill. So I've identified 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, we'll see how we get on, bits that need welding, which is not ideal. And the other bits, they don't take my poppers. So the poppers that I've got are these here with little screws on them, and they're spot on. But if you look at this hole here, when you screw them in, it just sort of, with enough wobbling, which no doubt it will do, it sort of just comes out. They're not really, you know, they're not good enough. They're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to tighten these things up. So that gives us another problem, but thankfully I've got another kit, and this is a Halford Special nut riveter, and I've never used one of these before, never done any riv nutting before in my life. I've seen people do it, but I've never needed to. But this is the first time we've got a sealed box, so I can't go behind it with anything. I have to put a riv nut in it. First, you've got to drill your hole to make it the right size for the riv nut. This is the tiny little riv nut that I'm going to use, and this will then screw into that all nicely. These things are essentially exactly the same as a rivet. There is a bit here where it squashes down as you pull it through the machine. So if you can see this mechanism in here, when you tie that on, what this machine's doing is it's pulling down on it, right? So if you imagine when that's all the way tight, it's got nowhere to go apart from expand the metal and distort it. And the idea is that it does it while it's in the windscreen. And then if you rotate this screw and unscrew the riv nut, then you can successfully get your popper and quite simply pop it in. And that is ready to accept our roof. So when you're driving along, it doesn't go like that. rain comes in your face. Ask me how I know. Anyway, that would be fine, but I do need to weld a couple of bits over here and then drill holes in them and do exactly that process all the way along. Do you remember me saying that these things would come in handy, these wings that I bought that aren't really going to work on that because they're sort of cut off at the end? Anyway, we're going to cut some bits out of them for this windscreen. Just eyeball that, like, yeah, that'll do there, won't it? Yeah, nice, okay. So that is going to live somewhat like that on there. I've just got to cut around this and weld that into position. Out with the old, in with the new. Now, as you can see, it just doesn't fit, but I kind of did that on purpose. Just make the hole slightly oversized and then trim this down to fit. It's better to cut less than to cut more, and then you're going to have to try and build bridges. So let me get my little machine.
You're supposed to wear the PPE, not have it on your head.
Thanks, Joe. Honestly, it's like working with the bloody health and safety ombudsman. So this is what you end up with. And the idea is to try and make it as flush as possible. And then you can grind everything back, and you might have to put a tiny bit of skimmer filler on it, but hopefully not loads. Is that ready to weld? Not quite. We need to give it one of these. Every time I weld something, I like to just sort of give the underneath and the back of this thing a coat of this lovely Passivate weld through primer. What it does is well, I'll tell you what it says. It says, it's a chemically resistant passive cathodic protection for all bare metals, offering more than 90% zinc in the dry film. An extremely anti-corrosive, heat-resistant, spot-weldable primer in a large, cost-effective aerosol. It's from Buzzweld. They're amazing. Love them. And yeah, when I weld this on now, it's just going to not rust back as quick. And hopefully should last many, many years. So I'm going to let that all dry, put this back in place, and then we'll give it a weld. Looks great, doesn't it? But I've made a mistake. Back! too busy thinking about, like, you know, what to do next and what to say to you guys and filming it and stuff, that you forget the basics, like cover the windscreen when you're welding, because I have picked up some splodges from the welder. We'll see how bad it is when we polish it all up. What a pain in the ass. Anyway, I've got this one to do now. Made a little thing for it there, just the same process, weld it in and then grind it all back. Now this bit here does look great. It's not quite something that you could not put any filler on. I am going to have to put just a smidge over that because it's sunken ever so slightly there. So I'll just put a smidge of filler over it, and when I'm sanding the rest of the windscreen, we'll sand all this as well, and it'll look perfect and it'll be super solid. Needs to be super solid because that's where we're going to be drilling a hole for a pop stud for the roof. If you could do me a massive favour and just jump out, hit subscribe. Really could do with you hitting the subscribe button. I'm trying to boost my subscribers, and when I get to 200,000 subscribers, I'm going to hold a cars and coffee for all the people specifically that watch this channel. And you can come down, your pride and joys, see the fleet. It's going to be amazing. This is the one that we did for 100,000 subscribers. I really want to do the 200,000 subscriber one with even more spaces for more cars. But I've told myself I'm not going to do it until I get to 200,000 subscribers. And we've got a little bit of a way to go yet. Anyway, let's crack on with some jobs. I didn't think it was going to be this bad, but take a look at this. Yeah, I don't know how well it's coming across on camera. Maybe if I like put that under, that's probably not helping, is it? But if you can see all these long marks, this is where molten metal has just rolled down the glass and the laminate and just marked it from me welding. And I don't think there's anything I can do about that. I think this windscreen is shot. Windscreen is dead. However, I'm going to try and give it a quick buff just with this thing and some G3 and see if I can get any of it out. The good news is though, this is the original windscreen that we got from the car and it's pretty mint. I would just need to fit it over. That might be an MOT failure, annoyingly. That has made absolute bugger all difference. So, yeah, gonna have to put another windscreen in it, I think. Thankfully we've got one, but it is still gonna be a cost. Pay attention when you're doing things, I need to tell myself. Anyway, come have a look at this here. All of this stuff before me is various expensive looking sanding discs and machinery and, you know, blocks and stuff. But the reality is that all of this, you just need filler and this sandpaper, which you can get from Halfins, and you could do it all yourself. So I know we're saying that everything on this build you can do yourself at home, but the bodywork that I'm about to do, which is just sort of taking your eye off it bodywork, we just want to sort of make it look a bit nicer. When you park it up, you can go, oh yeah, nice car, and you can be proud of it. Well, you don't need all this, you just need that. You can do it without it. The reason I've got all this is because it makes it faster. And it means that I can do it much, much quicker because I'm going to do a YouTube video, look. The key stages here are to just apply filler, sand, apply filler, sand, and then feel with your fingers. And the idea behind it is, if you can feel something, you can see something. So if it's still there, if it's at your fingertips, you feel a little divot or a bump or anything at all, you will be able to see that through the paint. So do everything you can to just keep sanding, 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 filling, sanding until you get a really nice, smooth finish. And then you can apply your primer. This is the inside that is now all masked and scuffed up and ready for some primer, and I'm just wiping it all down with some brake cleaner just to make it all spunking now with and to make the paint stick. That's it really. And I'm doing the inside first because if we then do the outside afterwards and you get a little bit of overspray or whatever on the inside, it doesn't really matter because it's on the inside and nobody's going to see it. The satisfaction you feel when it all just changes into one colour is great. These bits here need a serious dose of taking your eye off them. And to do that, I've got some 320 grit sandpaper on a orbital sander, and I'm going to just run it across them and just clean it all up. And then we're going to put a little bit of filler primer on them and then put a bit of red just up to that line. I might even mask it to this line here and a little bit of a line there, who knows. But then that is going to look so much better. Don't believe me? Just watch. Okay, it's another warm week as well. We are all roasting here. Mike's doing a cracking job of getting the seats bolted down into the car. And Joe, I can see him over here with a steamer. Yeah. This thing is looking mint. Still a few crinkles, but it was very dirty and very, well, we'd been walking across it and stuff for quite a while. So Joe's getting that sorted, and we're still waiting for some red paint, and we've just been told that isn't coming today. It's going to come tomorrow, so that'll stay like that for the time being. I might mask and prime the other side as well, just for a laugh. Now this is where I've got to here on the tailgate, just getting rid of all of the crap that was there. No holes or anything, but there is some corrosion, as you can see. And what I've also done is here, there was more corrosion, same on the other side. It's not the best. I'm not going to do anything with that. That's where the bumper goes across, so you won't see all of it. This you will though, so I'm going to put some filler in that, tidy it all up. This bit here as well, tidying all that up. And I'm going to do that to a few more areas on the car, such as that bit there, just to sort of slow any getting worseness down. Got to get the fiberglass done in here, a little bit of titivation on this bit here. Down here as well, these bits here. Just want to try and sort of take your eye off everything, you know, make it look nice, because we're going to making a lot of effort here. But before I just go and slap a load of paint and primer and stuff on all these rusty bits, I'm going to pour some of this on them. I'm going to brush some of this on them. This is Ferro Zinc water-based rust converter. Fancy. And what that'll do is it'll just stabilise it, and it'll buy us a little bit more time. That's all we want, just a little bit more time. And this thing will last for many years to come, and it'll look awesome in the process, but this will really, really help. Made in Britain, awesome. So I'm going to paint a bit of this on, work my way around, get it all the bits looking like that, do some more masking, a little bit more primer, and then in the morning hopefully we'll have some red paint and we can start making it look all shiny. And now that the seats are going in, it's, oh, as well, exciting, thank God, but the bumpers have arrived and they look super nice and everything is there, all the brand new lights and stuff ready to go on. It's going to look the absolute business, this car, I'm telling you. Right, let's crack on. This stuff is, I mean, it's just brilliant. This is what you need for holes that are too big to just put a little bit of filler in. You need to bridge it with something, and this is perfect. So it wants you to pour a load of that in, mix it all with this, well, spread it on that, mix it together. You've got a little brush to do things with. You've got some gloves as well. You don't need to worry about that. And then, yeah, that's it really. If I get my hand down here, see this? We're going to build that up with fibre of glass. And then we're going to paint this thing with the fiberglass resin inside and out. And then we'll fill it afterwards and it'll look all nice. So I don't know how much we're going to need, so I'm going to say that much. And I think about that much, aren't I? Just have to have a guess, don't you? It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as it's got some hardener in it. I've been experimenting with different levels of hardener in everything from paint to filler and stuff for years, and it just doesn't matter really as long as there's some hardener in there. It just affects how long it takes to go off in some cases. Sometimes it winds people up when you put fiberglass on cars in the comment section and they go, oh my god, do it properly, I can't believe you're going to do fiberglass, what the hell? Fiberglass is terrible, you can't put that on a car. Just picking up sanding discs off the floor because Sonny came out and decided to pull them all away, and he's checking on the progress of his car. What do you think so far, sir? Just going to go and try and escape through the fence, jump in front of a train or something. Okay, carry on. We're getting there. Filler is on the back door and the corners and stuff. I'm just busy masking the front side of the windscreen. This fiberglass is looking good here and going off. That's going to be ready for some filler in other places just going off. Matty's managed to get this seat in place, and we're going to get covers on these. They're not going to stay like that. We've just got some covers to throw on them. And I'll keep my eye out for some other seats or some better seats. A few people have suggested MX5 seats, so we might do that. Make a couple of little adapters, put some MX5 seats or something in there. We've got some KA ones up there, which we were going to use initially, Ford KA ones. They don't fit, they're too wide. Right, okay, carry on. So yeah, look, if you want to help a brother out, go onto this website here, look. It's just www.tastyclassics.co.uk. And there's a few things that you can do to help me afford to buy new wings for Suzuki SJ410s. I don't do anything like car vertical or any of that nonsense on this channel. I just like to sell you my own stuff so you can go out and represent Tasty Classics. That would be cool. There's all sorts of cool stuff on this website. The best thing though that you can do is to enter the Tasty Classics car raffles by clicking the button below. And if you click that button, there's two cars that are up for raffle at the moment. You've got the Toyota Serra, £1 for a ticket, or the ST3 Focus at £5 for a ticket. So click on one of them and put your money in the machine. That'd be great. But if you just want to buy like a t-shirt or something, you've got these really nice Austin A40 Barn Find t-shirts. They're like super luxurious. And they have like, oh god, that's big, isn't it? And they have like the nice black and white Tasty Classics logo and stuff on them. And you can also get, if you've only got $3.99 to spend, you can also get a Sunny sticker and put it on your car. So this is the Suzuki Rhino thing, and that we've changed to Sunny, which we will be putting on this car later. It's always sunny in the workshop. There he is, or a Teddy, and that's the Rascal that we restored ages ago. There's loads of amazing stuff. You can even buy a car, look, there's a Volvo on there. It's now 1,665 quid. Nobody wants that Volvo. Needs a bit of welding. Same stuff as we're doing on the Suzuki. You can buy that and fix it up and do it. Look at it, it's dead clean. It's a lot nicer than the Suzuki, that one. The interior's mint and everything. Just needs some other bits and bobs. It's cheap. It's going down £10 a day until someone buys it. Anyway, back on with the video. This is the windscreen and it is all in primer. Look at that for a repair there. Where is the bit that I welded? No one would ever know. I've made headway with cleaning up areas like this one here. Shame that the stickers obviously had a little bit of a, but it is what it is. It's just going to take your effort. I'd rather that than a big rust hole in a year or so. Down there, I've got to put a little bit of filler on and then get that all sorted. I've just put some primer along this bit here, but that's looking nice. This bit I'm about to mask and do some priming on. This is the underlay stuff that we had upstairs. So this is one of the seat covers that we got on the seats, looking very nice. Looks absolutely fine. I'm happy enough with that. This is a beach car for the dog. And this is just a little bit of extra support so you don't get any metal bits piercing your rectum. We need to go home. And we'll see you again in the morning for more paint work. The paint should be ready tomorrow. And I'm hoping by the end of the day tomorrow, all of the paintwork's done. And then it's going to be a frantic last couple of days of bolting everything back on, seeing if the electrics work and trying to get this thing down for an MOT. It's the next morning and mid-Cheshire windscreens are on their way down. Yes, come on! I thought that was going to be a problem, but he says we're going to try and use the old seal and from the old screen, the screen that's going in it, and hopefully that's going to work. So me and Matty have just wrestled it out of this old frame, which, there you go, good for parts. And we're now going to get this screen off, get this seal off, clean the seal to within an inch of its life, clean the windscreen, and get everything all nice for them to come and fit it. This is the nice new repaired surround. I'm just starting to paint it now because I've not got long to get all the paint done on this, so I'm going to just be on it now. So hopefully when he comes to fit the windscreen, it's all painted, it's all ready, it's all gone off, it's all nice and hard, and he can fit the old windscreen to that. That would be the dream. All that time spent masking it and needn't have bothered. Anyway, the car, we're just on, well, I am just on full sanding mode at the moment. Remember how bad all these little bits were on here? So we've just got rid of all that. Everything looked like that there, right? That's what everything looked like, and I'm leaving that so I can sort of show you guys the difference. This bit, I've just done my first layer. I'm going to do a little bit more filler on that. All the fiberglass has gone off nicely. Same on this bit here, it's looking all nice and smooth. Bits down there as well. We're just really making the effort to make this a bit nicer on the eyes. Right, okay, well, I've just got to carry on painting. That's all I can do. I feel like I've done a pretty good job of the welding on this windscreen. Would you like to see? Which bit did I weld? Which bit was it? Can you tell? Because I sure as hell can't. Nice little repair job there. That hole was bigger when I drilled the thing out for the rivet, but the rivet does fit, so we'll just ignore that one. But yeah, that is really nicely repaired. I'm well pleased with that. And then we'll get all these studs in these holes afterwards, and I've got to make a new hole there, look. You can see the welding splatter a lot better against Matty's top there. It's not good. That windscreen is destroyed. Surround's looking pretty mint though. Absolutely spunking now with that. Oh my gosh, I just can't believe how good it is. Really, really nice. We're just going to leave that there just to go off and solidify, and then hopefully when Cheshire windscreens come they will get us out of the shit. Yet again, another example of a proper tradesman getting a YouTuber out of the shit. Right, okay, carrying on with this. We've got some really good bits, just making rust disappear, which is what I do. Had a bit of a reaction here, but I'm going to polish all that out, that's fine. This bit to do down here still. Got to finish off a couple more bits on here, but this one is all done. The masking can come off that, and I'll give that a polish up and blend it in after. Only problem with this is that we didn't have loads of sticker left underneath it, so the sticker is a little bit, well, it is what it is. At least it's not terribly rusty, you know. Tailgate is looking spunking now with them. Matty's just getting this Suzuki badge off in preparation for the sunny decal. So I've got a couple more things to just sort of sand and mask, and then we're nearly there. I do, however, want to get this bit done. Now this here stands out like a sore thumb, and I've left it because I'm going to show you guys now how to achieve greatness. If your car's sat outside and it's just got this horrible scabby bit on it, go and fix it, and it can be done very inexpensively, and dare I say it's quite fun. I do enjoy it. Sort of a bit of a transformation is really nice. Like this was horrible rust holes, but that is going to look, I mean, it's going to look fairly average when it's done, but it won't be big rust holes anymore. First of all, you've got to get your masking tape and cover anything that you don't want to get any paint on, and just take a bit of care with doing it, going around stickers and stuff. Next up, remove all of the crap. So anything that's sticking out further than the paintwork on the car, or further than the area that you're working on, you've got to take right back. Get rid of anything that is prouder than the bodywork of the car. So then, and go a little bit further so you can add some filler to it. Next, mix up some filler. So you're going to need some gloves. Just slap as much as you need down onto the board with a bit of hardener, give it a good mix in, and then apply it to the area. Now remember as well, the more you put on, the more you've got to take off. Next up comes the big bit. This is the sanding. You've just got to go over and over and over it. I'm using a flat block here as well because the area is flat, so it just helps keep the repair nice and level. I'm going for 120 grit to start, then 320 grit, then 600 grit to finish and get rid of all of the 320 grit's sanding scratches. And this is the biggest, honestly, the biggest bit that people just fall down on and skip, like the repair that was there previously, is they'll put some stuff in the hole, but they will not spend the time sitting there and sanding and sanding and sanding and sanding. And that's what you just have to do. You've just got to keep going and going and going. Put some music on, enjoy yourself. The next thing that I had a problem with is that the wing is so rusty and damaged underneath. Where the plastic wheel arch attaches to is just gone. I couldn't take the plastic wheel arch off, and I had to sort of do my best to just work around it. If I took that plastic wheel arch off, I would probably never get it back on, or if I did, it would take me a very long time. We're getting these sidebars installed because we need to fit the windscreen as per Stuart's request from Mid-Cheshire Windscreens. Absolutely superb vehicle. You got a couple of those Volkswagen, no, MANs, haven't you?
Crafter.
Crafter, yeah.
Crafter.
Saw that last time when we were in the old place.
That's it, with all the lights on it.
Yes, very smart. Like a fully decaled up thing. It looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, Harry's taken that over now, so that's Harry's van now.
Happy days. Stuart's going to crack on with this. Get this window swapped over. We've got the new one to go in over there. Matty's cleaned it all up. Very smart. Looking good again and in much better condition than it was before.
We do have a new seal here as well. Not new seal, but a different seal.
You're right, that seal's alright, isn't it? And that, folks, is the nice windscreen in the SJ that we can see out of without any splatter. Oh, thank God for that. That was a bit of a worry. Thanks, mate.
You're welcome.
If you haven't watched the first 2 episodes of this SJ410 build, you should go and watch them. This little guy here, this is Sonny, and this car is for him and me and Alice to take him to the beach, and that is what we plan to do at the end of this video. Does that sound good? Do you want to eat my fingers? I don't think he wants to eat my fingers, he just likes the taste of body filler, which is all over my fingers. And we've got some decals to put on the car with Sonny on, which are really cool. And yeah, if you want to buy one of those decals or a Sonny Teddy or anything like that, you can do as well. Next up, remove the masking and mask a little bit further back, and you're doing that in order to blend in the repair bit where you've just done, to sort of make it look like nobody was ever there. But the problem I got is I didn't mask it enough, and as I was doing it I got pure overspray on the sticker. You'll see later on though it's very easily removed with a bit of thinners. Looks a damn sight better than it did, doesn't it? I'm telling you, these bits here are a bit grotty, but I've got an idea. I'm going to put a little bit of black sealant across there so you can't see them. Now once this is all dried and it's gone off, which is going to be probably in a couple of days time, I wouldn't really do it any sooner than that, you're going to give it a wet sand and you're going to give it a polish, and that just really brightens it up and blends it in to the other panel that you were doing. But I'll show you that later on. But it's an hour's work, if that. That was all by hand, no tools, no fancy stuff. It's a good idea to take the masking off while it's wet as well. It's important if you do watch part 1 and part 2 of this Suzuki restoration build, because you'll have seen when we messed up with the bonnet and I got a bad reaction out of it. Pain, but I do want it to be nice. Anyway, on the car, the last bit of filler work. Long live fiberglass on cars, because look what it can do. From big, horrible rust holes to, well, this, which doesn't look great, but if you hang on there for 2 seconds. Ta-da! There you have it. No holes, hole deleted. We'll give it a little bit of a titivation once it's all locked solid. Same with the rest of the car. I did just get ahead of the game there and I decided to give this a bit of a buff and polish, but it's still well too wet. So I'm going to leave that and we won't do it. Now, this bonnet, we've been thinking about how we can do it without having to take the whole thing down to bare metal and fill it again and primer it again. And this is what we come up with. Matty has blocked all the paintwork, so you can see there's still a couple of dents and little dings and stuff, but we're not going for concourse here and we haven't got the time to sort all these out. So what we're going to do, we've taken all of the roofs off of the, so it's like that where paint has burst through the top of it, And now you've got these little insidey bits, these divots here, which need to be sorted out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a skimmer filler over all of this, all these bits, over there as well. And then we're going to continue to block it. So we're just going to keep doing that fill block, fill block, fill block. There we go then. All the filler is applied. It's annoying when you spend so long doing something and then you have to get back to this stage, but it is what it is. While we're waiting for this to go off, Matty's got the old windscreen wiper motor that's got a plug on it. And like really annoyingly, the windscreen wiper motor that we got for this has bizarrely a different plug on it, which is now up there somewhere. So we've cut this one off the old wiper motor, going to clean it up, attach these cables to the new one, and then we've got a plug. So if in the future we could take the windscreen off again if we want to. I don't know. Anyway, I think the only thing we can do now, because we're waiting for things to go off, I've tried doing a bit of wet sanding and polishing, but the paint's still too wet on it, still too soft. So the only thing I can think of really doing is to start bolting things back on, like doors and all sorts of other stuff. So let's get some of that done. The car's really starting to take shape now. And this is pretty much the fun bit. This is where like all of the sort of dirty, dusty, horrible jobs are behind you and you can concentrate on bolting shiny stuff on. This is a stage that everybody wants to get to on a car build. And that's what, you know, you look at some car builds and you go, oh, that looks like so much fun. Yeah, but what about the 2 weeks of welding we've just had to do? Anyway, I'm getting the bumper all put on and it's just not as straightforward as I was hoping. It's not as fun as I was hoping. A lot of things are wrong and different and need modifying and need changing and yeah, not ideal. Back bumper is on and I'm just getting my head around the lights because just, I don't know. I mean, these things that you get from India, they're made to a price, aren't they? That's the big thing about them. They are made to a price. And the price is quality. And they are also made for a long wheelbase. And this is a short wheelbase. So Matty has done a very nice job of just cutting a huge chunk out of these things and just making them fit all nice. Smart, yeah? So yeah, we've got like a fair bit to crack on with still, but I mean you just look at the back of this thing now and compared to how it was, it is really coming on. I'm getting very excited. If we can get to the end of the day tomorrow and the thing is fully built up and we can start testing stuff, annoyingly there's some other things I have to do. I've got to take the calipers off the front again because I forgot a couple of bits on them, which I'll talk about later on. We've got to bleed the brakes again, do some testing, get the electrics working properly, and then it is going to be ready. And I've got to finish the bonnet. There's still a lot to do, so I'm not sure if it's going to happen tomorrow. It might be Friday that it finally gets sort of ready for an MOT, but I didn't want to rush this thing, and I mean, I'm glad I haven't. It is just looking... The dog's danglies already. Colin Appleyard Cars Huddersfield dealer plate. It just looks superb with those Suzuki things. It's gorgeous. We've been grafting, all of us, for, to be fair, for weeks on this car now, and we just want to do something fun. So let's, Joe, do you want to get the spare wheel on? Wheel bolts ready to go. Oh yes, oh it's slightly on the piss, isn't it? It's going to be going out to it constantly like a picture in your house, just going, oh yeah, that looks mint. How good is that? Let's remind ourselves quickly what the back of this thing looked like when we first dragged it out of our car park here. Right, can someone line me up because it's not cut properly, so just doing it by eye.
It looks alright to me.
Does that look okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? You sure?
I think so.
Let's take it off again. We've got another 4 tries, haven't we? the sunny SJ410 is born. Oh wow, hey. Look at that. That is awesome. How good is that? I'm going to take a photo to post on the social media and to show Alice when I get home. Gluten Morgan, it's Thursday. MOT is booked in for tomorrow. Yikes, because the car still looks, well, it still looks like this. Really hoping today we can just smash through these jobs, get it all boxed off, get this thing done and get it ready. Just everything done on it. There's a lot to do. But if we don't stop and if we just carry on, it'll be okay. When I was editing last night as well, I did notice these bits of overspray there. Oh dear. I'm just going to try very quickly to see if I can get that out with a dab of thinners. But look at that there though. That has come up absolutely beautifully. And we can, if we wanted to, do a quick little wet sand on it. So if there's time, we'll go through all the bits of the car that we've painted and do little wet sands on them. But I mean, if you didn't know that wasn't there, you'd be very hard pushed to spot it really. And it's the same with everywhere else on the car. All the sort of little bits that we tidied up. I mean, you remember how bad that was there. It's just fine, isn't it? The only bit that lets it down is a bit we didn't paint. Maybe we should have painted that whole thing. Maybe there's still time to paint that whole thing, because otherwise it's going to stand out like a sore thumb next to the bonnet, isn't it? And just like, yeah, these little touch-ups at the back, now that we put the bumper on and stuff, I mean, again, a little bit more of a buff maybe, but yeah, absolutely sound. This thing's going to look double mint. This is 2K universal thinners. I don't know what the 2K means, but it's universal thinners, and I'm going to use it to gently just try and remove this overspray without destroying that sticker. Is that all gone from there? I think it is. We're just making it worse, aren't we, if we keep rubbing it. That's the paint from underneath. Yeah, lovely. We'll call that done. A little bit there. Lovely. I've brought her outside just to check a couple of bits. First of all, to make sure she still ran, and well, that was touch and go, but I wanted to make sure she was charging, which she is. But yeah, we had a problem. We tried to run her up to drive her out, and there was a fuel blockage somewhere. Annoying. The tank's probably a bit crusty in there. So we blew it back through with an airline, and then blew it back through from the tank side, and it pulled fuel again, so that's good. And now it is idling, although it's not the best. I'm going to let it heat up as much as it can, and then we'll have a bit of a titivate of some stuff. I've not actually done any service work on this, no plugs, no distributor, nothing, because it did run so sweet. I was like, well, I want to try and save money, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I don't know, I'm just thinking there might be something fuel system wise that isn't quite perfect yet. Good news is I've got a fuel gauge and I've got a temperature gauge, which is absolutely superb. Really pleased with that. It's working, and the clock does work. How cool. And also just my sort of little bits of paintwork that I've done. I mean, it's not perfect, but bloody hell it's good. Absolutely spot on that. And that was all rusty and crusty and horrible there. There's some bits I didn't really bother with, I just took your eye off them, but I mean, that was really bad there. Still need to touch that bit up there. These bits here, tiny bit of rub through there when I was buffing it. But yeah, absolutely spot on. This thing just looks gorgeous, absolutely superb. Colour match is perfect. Thank you so much to the guys at M&P Paint Supplies, because the colour match is astounding. Like when you look at this bit here and that bit there, I mean, I painted all the bottom of that and you just can't tell. But yeah, she's good as gold. Really smart. There is a few more bits that could do with a bit more buffing that are a bit dull, and we can certainly brighten those up. So we'll do that when we do the final clean down and the final titivation before we head down to the beach. But if she just, I'm going to let her heat up, if she just maintains a temperature, idles nicely and the engine calms down a bit, and when it's hot it runs without the choke, I'll be happy. So we're just having a quick tidy up in here now. So the problem we've got, doesn't want to start. If you pull the choke out, it does, right? And what that says to me is that there is no idle circuit, and without taking it all apart and messing about with it, I'm just going to try and increase the idle screw to see if it can let some stuff past. When you press the throttle, it rests on this screw here. There's a bit of an end of a screw there, and then when I tighten it, it pushes that throttle open a bit. Right, so I need to do that until it idles properly. There's no start at all, just using the throttle with no choke. What we need is the carburetor hammer. I'm sort of trying every trick in the book here, from sucking by putting that cloth on there, you're sort of forcing all of the fuel ways to just clear themselves with vacuum, and so far nothing's working. A bit annoying. I need to do a little bit more research into this carb and see exactly what this little machine is here, and see if potentially we can clean this thing up. Maybe have a look at the bowl and stuff as well, see what's going on in there, but I think this might be a bit of a pain in the arse. So the bones of it are, is I've tried every trick in the book with the cloth and stuff to try and suck things through, and it's still no work. So I'm just having a little look at some of the electrical side of things. I mean, that dizzy cap's okay, but it could certainly do with replacing. And the rotor arm, maybe we could clean that up a touch. Points as well, maybe give those a little bit of a touch, but I think it is all carburettor side. I'll see if I can get some spark plugs for it as well. Just going to fully restore this rotor arm. Oh, it's like brand new again, amazing. And again here, I'm just going to install a brand new set of points on the car as well. That's quite important. Let's just get some brand new points on it just to get us over the edge. Oh, lovely. I'll be like brand new in there now. Just get this brand new dizzy cap installed also. So I've done a solid 30 seconds of research into this now, and this thing here is, well, it's supposed to be like a fuel cut-off plungery type thing, and it should be cutting the fuel idle circulation side of things off. I don't know if it is or not, so I'm going to take it apart and we'll have a look. I'm going to change this fuel hose while I'm here as well, because that's pretty old. Yeah, so it's this thing here that's the sort of plungery bit, and I think it just pulls in out to open idle fuel circuit, I would think. I don't know. Anyway, this is the fuel bowl, and I'm trying to relieve it from its little house. I don't know how well you can sort of see this on camera, but it is super gunky and rough inside there. Whole thing wants taking off and completely rebuilding, really. Hello and welcome to Carburetor Corner. Last week this was Brake Pipe Corner. Things are fluid in this workshop. Speaking of fluids, yikes, that is full of crap and detritus, and potentially some of that is blocking a jet somewhere, or this plunger me bob here isn't plunging. Now I can get a brand new carburettor for this car, and I could probably get it for Monday, Tuesday next week, but that's too far away. There's potential, if I can make this one work, that we could go and get this thing down for an MOT tomorrow. Doesn't look terrible. Not only that, I can pretty much guarantee, looking at the state of the other parts for this car, that the quality of it might not be the best. And if I can make this one work, potentially we're going to do a little bit better. So let's give it a go, let's try. From what I can gather, looking at all of this stuff here, this is a plunger, and I don't know if that's well, we can try and maybe stick some bolts up to it or something, but it should, I think, move in and out. And I think what that does is, through this hole here, allows fuel into the idle circuit. I don't know how well you can see, but it is absolutely covered in detritus everywhere. All where there needs to be nice clear passageways is full of sadness. So I'm going to strip it down a little bit further now and we'll have a look at what we've got. I can see there's a needle inside here, and the needle moves in and out, and I need to know if I can move that needle. I don't know if you can see there, but that plunger is moving, but I don't know if it's doing that when it's plugged in and on the car. I have to make sure we're getting power to here when we plug it back in. Right, so there's a jet thingy here, and that's all the way home. So I know when I put it back together, I've just got to screw it down till it's tight. That there, again, just very badly blocked. Right, I can now see through it again. All of this stuff I'm going to blow through with the airline as well. I'm just going to try and get it all out first. Oh, yikes. Look at that. Just bits of crap everywhere. That was a bit of gasket. But yeah, that one's going to need some serious cleaning up. Yeah, it's got holes all down the side of it there, completely blocked. And I think this is your main sort of fuel atomizer, I think, inside the carb. And yeah, a lot of these holes were non-compliant. And if fuel can't get out of those at low pressure, certainly not going to run. Right, I can feel air coming out of all of those now. I've opened up all those holes. Can you see those holes on camera? I'd be impressed if you can. Some real backyard mechanicking going on here. Quite enjoying it. I do think that's pretty much everything I have to worry about. There's nothing else in there. The only thing I've got to do is clean up all the inside of the bowl. Having to get a bit more physical in here because some of this stuff is really baked on, so we're just scraping it off with a screwdriver. Cool. everything seems to be coming out of there how it should and where it should, and there's no more crap inside it. So I'm going to put it all back together. This gasket is wrecked. It's a very, very fine gasket. I'm going to try and make one out of some gasket paper. Maybe put some Hylamar on that one or something, and then we'll put it back in the car and we'll try it. This gasket took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to make it, because I only had half of the old gasket to work off, and I couldn't hold the gasket paper over where it was supposed to go because of the float that was in the way and the stuff that was built around. It was difficult, okay, is what I'm saying. It was difficult and it took a while to do, but I think I got it pretty good towards the end. Carburetor is back in play. We're going to test it all now and see if it works. We've also replaced this lovely fuel line here, and I just want to see if we're getting fuel through. So Matt, if you want to just crank it for me. Yep. Right, lovely fuel flow there, so I can plug that back in. Everything is plugged in, and what I want to see is ideally no fuel leaking out of everywhere. That's my main priority, really. That's been a new gasket there. That's an old gasket. We've got a couple of gaskets back there, and then there's a copper washer down there, which I did replace, honest, and I forgot to put that back on there, but I don't want to disturb it now, so I'm just going to leave it. We're all plugged in on this little solenoidy bob, so I guess the only thing to do is to try and start it on the choke circuit, because it has cooled down a bit, and then see if we can take the choke off. First bit of good news is it does run again, which is great. I'm just looking now for any fuel or anything, and it all looks sound. And now I'm going to slowly push the choke in. Well, the good news is the choke is now fully off. And if you remember, I increased the idle speed. So now I'm going to decrease the idle speed. I've done a good job of that, you know. That sounds amazing. That's with no choke, so it's now running without any choke. Still idling a little bit high, maybe. Only other bad news is we've picked up a bit of an exhaust manifold leak. I hope Rob's okay with that. Can we have an advisory instead of a fail? I think that's spot on. I think that's absolutely perfect. It's idling a little bit high, but we'll see what it's like when it warms up. I'm just going to try and drive it out of here and back in again and see what it's like under a little bit of throttle. It's running a million times better, like a million times better. Couldn't really pull away without choke at all before, and now tons of power again. Really bloody pleased with that. One of the things that's not helping at the moment is there's no pipe between here and here. We need to reinstate that, and that might bring the idle down a touch. All this linkage here for the choke, the spring isn't doing anything. It's not pulling it back. I mean, I think maybe with a bit of use it probably would, but yeah, not really doing what it should do at the moment. See if it'll start with no... Oh wow, I mean, big old difference that, innit? Really pleased. Thank God. Right, let's get it back in and bolt some more stuff on. What do you think of your car so far, hey? Is it any good? Time was well and truly of the essence now. We just had to get as much done as we could. There is still tons of jobs left for this Jeep before I can get it down for its MOT. So it's just a case of like ordering these new shiny parts and bolting them on, and then getting the new lights and stuff and bolting those on, and it all works and stuff. No, that is not the case. That might be the case when you're dealing with modern cars and newer stuff that's, you know, it's not had a chance to have a life yet. But when you're dealing with stuff like this, I've got a snap bolt there for all of my earth, so I've just had to drill a new bolt for it. Nothing is working, right? And I think I might have found why. We've got tons of these connectors, and it's just like they've been siliconed over and stuff in an effort to stop them rusting or just not working. And oh my God, I've really got to try and figure this out now of what goes where and why. I think we've got a relay here. It was originally for a set of spotlights, right? And these spotlights cables are just lying there. So I'm going to pull all of that out and try and turn all of this back to standard. I can't try and begin to fault find why the lights aren't working properly on the front of this car before that's back to how it should be, which is a faff, and that's going to take me bloody ages as well. Stop complaining, just get on with it. Okay, right, let's see how we get on. Just pulled this cover down here, and I mean, the more you worse, the look it gets. There's like a big bit of glass and stuff there. That's weird, frankly. And yeah, just lots of like odds and sods. That is just, you know, that's banged right into the ignition there, and that little thing could give you a major headache, really. So let's just pop it open and we'll see what it's like inside there. Well, I mean, that's still intact. By the looks of it. Not sure what that's for, but it can now disappear. No horn, right? No horn at all. So is that the horn that's dead, or have we got a dead fuse? So one by one now, I'm just pulling all of the fuses and I'm checking them. And not only am I checking them, but the action of me pulling them in and out might help any connections that we've got in the fuse box. But they all seem in really good nick, which is, well, surprising. The horn itself works, I know that, because I've just put this thing onto it, but I'm only getting 4 volts, which means there's a high resistance in the circuit somewhere. So I don't think this is anything to do with it. I don't think it's getting a ground from here or anything, but I'm going to concentrate on what I'm doing. This is what I've pulled out of that little rat's nest here. I'd love to just sit down with the guy that was doing this job originally, just have a cup of tea with him and trying to find out what he was hoping to achieve here and what this was actually for, because none of it made any sense. It looks like it was just like a weird extension that didn't extend it any further, and he didn't need to. Very odd. Or was his intention just to cheese me off? Maybe. In the future. Now, this is what happens with these connectors. It's probably worked straight away when it was fine, but and everything was new and non-corroded, but you can see all the green on there and just like all these dead bits. See that there? It's just the wires, and then you look at these bits as well, and the corrosion around them. over time, your connection will get worse and worse and then potentially one day disappear. So I've now got to reattach this thing to this thing. This is your headlight plug, and yeah, it's super straightforward. They're all color coded and stuff, but yeah, a bit of a faff. And there's not much left of these wires either, so let's see how we get on. Okay, so the rat's nest has been removed and I've got the right cables going to the right holes. This is all the old stuff here, so we don't need that. Everything is plugged in with new indicator and side repeater. New indicator and side light is what I meant. Sonny's given up as well. He's out for the count under the toolbox. Right then, Matty, ignition on. Oh, what the f***? Why is that light still on? Why? This is crazy. That's the weirdest fault ever. It's just sending permanent power there. Right, let's just ignore that for a second. Put side lights on. Okay, so I've got side light there, but I've also got indicator here. Great. Okay, indicate that way. Okay, something's wrong there. Indicate that way. Yikes. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Headlights. Got no headlights there. Flash. Right, so I've got flash there. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change those two bulbs. What is that? What is this? Why is there a fishbowl in my headlight? So annoying. I need to get a big box of those because I've come across those before in other old cars, but that is just, annoying. Anyway, I don't think that's the problem. I've tried to put this in just to see if there is an issue with that bulb. And Matty, if you just pop the ignition on again for us. Still, for some reason, when you put the ignition on, that side lights up. Do me a favour, put the indicators on. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. Right, I'm just gonna now just go through all the wiring as far back as I can, check all earth points, even though I already have. I don't know what else I can do. The problems just keep on coming. This is the last push now, and it's just Strugglesville, absolute Strugglesville. We're all just doing as much as we can to get this done, but it's not easy, I'm telling you. Little things that just keep pushing you back, and that just makes you go, oh God. Like, for example, I bought these bumpers and light set from India, and I bought them because these are the old light lenses. They're crap. They're all scratched and scuffed. I can't polish them up. They're not great, right? So I thought these nice shiny new ones would be good. And on first impressions, this one isn't screwed down yet, but they look good. But they are both lights from the same side. They've sent us two left-hand ones or two right-hand ones or whatever it is, so I've been having to grind one side off, and now one is slightly angled up and the other is slightly angled down, and there's just nothing I can do about it. Let's keep going. Let's just keep going on, and we'll just put it all together, and then maybe I'll find. It's not a massive problem. The wiring is the main problem. So let's just get this boxed off, and then we'll have a look at the wiring. If the wiring works, I'm sure I can find a decent set of light lenses that aren't doing that in the future. But it's one of those annoyances, isn't it? Right, I'm getting close. A couple of screws in there, and then we can test it again. Okay, so that signifies that the ignition light's on. Okay, so let's have a flash. Oh no, right, so we've got flash. Let's have headlights, side lights, sorry. We've got side lights and there is no indicators. Okay, interesting. Indicate left. Okay, indicate right. So we've got no, oh. That's going fast. What about the other way again? Wow, we actually have indicators. Let's try headlights on. Super dim. Off. Indicate left. Absolutely nothing. Indicate right. Absolutely nothing. Brake. Oh my God. All the faults have just moved to the back. Right. I've checked all the earths at the front and they're all mega. All the wiring at the front is exactly as it came out the factory, and I'm using the original factory bulb holders. This one looks slightly different because the bulb is just placed in there, but I've got a couple of new bulbs coming. I don't know why that is always on. All the wiring is exactly as it should be. I have absolutely no idea what would cause that to always be on. Let me have a look then at the earths at the back of the car, which might mean taking the bumper off again, but I have to get my head under there, have a look at all of the earths underneath there. We're getting closer because the front's never been as good as that before. So what I've done here is essentially just made a new earth that goes from the chassis to the body, because the chassis and body are two separate things on this car, where all your wheels and stuff bolt on, but also where your bumpers and your lights bolt on. That is a separate thing to the body of the car, and the battery is held in the body. Using a bit of wire, I've made a new one, and now Matty's put the headlights on, and we do have two good rear telltales. So let's have a brake light. Oh, thank God, praise the Lord. Left. Okay, absolutely nothing. And right. Right, we've got a really nice right indicator. I wonder if that's just a bulb issue. What about reverse? Oh my God, amazing. We need a fog light. We've got a fog light on the way from Amazon, and as soon as that arrives, we're going to have to wire that in as well. But that's really good news, apart from that indicator. This indicator turned out to be a real pig, and I checked everything on it, and it came down to the actual bulb holder itself. So a genius little fix that I dreamt up was to just put a bit of earth wire around the inside of the bulb holder, drill a hole in the bulb holder, poke the wire through and earth it straight to the chassis, and by doing that we had an indicator again. Amazing, I know. While I've been doing all that, Matty's got the sun visors and the rear view mirror in, which is superb. The bonnet is having its first coat of primer after all those bits have been filled and sanded and stuff. Hazards, tidy, and then separate indicate left and right. Yeah. Yeah. Brake. Yeah. Headlights. Yeah. Reverse lights. Amazing. Proper job that. Dead happy. All we need is that fog light. What about the front though? Sonny, you're missing all the action. So the maddest thing has happened. We've just changed the bulbs. This was the bulb in that side there, all grotty, but we've changed that. Thanks Napa for just being on standby and just dropping stuff off. This is one of the differences between this workshop and the old workshop as well, is that if I need something it's here in 20 minutes, whereas the old workshop sometimes it was a 2-hour round trip to the nearest bulb. Anyway, ignition on. So now instead of just one headlight being on, we have both headlights being on. And what I'm going to put that down to is a daytime running lights modification. So if the car's on, the headlights are always on. That's safety, primary concern. Okay, side lights, nice, and then flash. Amazing. Left, right. Absolutely dreamy. Big headache that. Still not perfect because that light's just permanently on. I don't know why. Can't be asked trying to find out. I did fill this up and we've put some stuff in there, but I don't know if it's all unblocked, so I guess we're going to find out. Go on, Matty. Yeah, I can hear it doing stuff. It's trying to shoot things through. You can see it going through it off. Just keep sort of pulsing it. Whoa! Just came all over the windscreen. Right, Let's get those wipers back on. Puppy, we did it! He's crazy. It's good that there's no like adjustment. It's like they're on or they're off, aren't they?
It doors.
It does door. Again, cheap parts from India come at a cost. That cost is quality. So I've just put the number plate on. Looking fabulous, but as you can see, it is on the piss. And you would think, oh, well, it's the holes in the number plate that are on the piss. But as you can see by the blue line and where it sits, they are absolutely perfect. The number plate is not pissed at all, and these holes are perfect. There's 2 holes drilled into the bumper, properly drilled in to accept the number plate, and yeah, they are sadly pissed. They're just drilled in the wrong place. Just drilled, one's higher, one's lower, and this one's all over the place, and a bit of a pain. Anyway, I think what I can do is just elongate that hole up slightly, and the number plate will sit straight. There you go. We are now straight. Bit of hole elongation with this machine here. It is now spot on. The car's face is coming together. I mean, it's there. But look, the wheels are turned. If the wheels are turned, it's the car. Everyone's a critic, aren't they? It then very quickly became Friday, and the MOT was booked for that afternoon. So we got the bonnet installed, and I mean, it was good from afar, but far from good. Nothing hopefully a good cut and polish won't sort out though, but I've just not got the time to do it in this video. I then got the tenant out and got the place put back to as close to spec as I could, because it's I hate working in a mess. I can't work in a mess. So it's nice to just get the place looking good again. And then it was just carrying on with the last few finishing touches. I'm genuinely really nervous about how today is going to go. I've put so much effort into getting this car over the line, and I just want that 12 months MOT. That's what I really, really want. Now, I've got a couple more jobs to do. The calipers on the front, one of them is sticking, and I think it's a slider bolt, and some of the clips that hold the brake pads in, I didn't have those in time last time, so I've got to fit those as well. So both calipers do need to come off again, because I'm going to do a slider bolt refurb on them all. I should have done it last time, but I didn't have the kit. Now, this bias valve in the middle isn't bleeding either. That's another headache we've got to sort. But thankfully, the good news is the handbrake does work. It's just off a drum on the prop, not the actual shoes on the back wheel. Someone pointed that out in the comments in the last video, so that's great of them. Thank you. Just everything. I don't know what it is, but nothing fits. Everything I'm buying for this car, I'm checking it's got the right year, it's got the right brakes. These are special ASIN brakes, or whatever, however you pronounce it. I'm making sure everything is correct when I'm ordering, because you're on a tight deadline trying to restore a car in a couple of weeks, and everything comes wrong. These are the slider bolts. This is one of the slider bolts I just took out of this caliper. I mean, I think the bushings and stuff, the seals and stuff are the same. Let's take it all over to the bench and we'll have a look. What I'm wondering though is, does it matter that it's longer? Because I mean, they fit beautifully, and if you think about it, as long as like everything goes in and everything works, it shouldn't be a problem, should it? Only thing is, I suppose, is that you've got to be able to get, that seal's going to be really stretched, isn't it? So it's not going to work. Right, doesn't matter. I'm just going to have to reuse these. Clean this one up properly, clean all these things up. I'll put the new boots on and we'll put it all back together. Okay, nice. Okay, that is one done. Let's put it back in the car and do the same to the other side. Okay, for me, that was an hour, and for you it was only a minute or two. But the front brakes are now spot on. This is what they should have been like with these clips in, so that's what I didn't do last time, and obviously trying to sort these things out because that one was binding. And we don't want a bindy brake, do we? Because that is an MOT failure. Never mind the holes in the thing, bindy brakes. It's not what they like. I'm not going to put the wheels on just yet because we need to bleed the things and hopefully try and get some brake fluid out of that. But as you can see on the floor there, no brake fluid has leaked out of it since it's just been undone and sat there. Problem. Joe's in the driver's seat. It's just reset the clock for us as well because it does work. Yeah. Pretty good. He's got a laptop with him as well, so we can do some work while we're bleeding brakes, because I don't know how this is going to go. And the reason for being for why is this brake proportioning valve. What it does is when you press the brakes, it just measures and adds the right amount of braking force from the rear to the front, because when your car does that, you need more brakes at the front. So that's what that does. I don't know if mine's clogged or knackered or it needs to be reset or something is going on with it, because I'm just not getting any brake fluid out of it. I'm going to try now. I'm going to bleed the fronts because we've had the front calipers off, which I know is a weird way to do it, but I'm just going to bleed those dead quickly, and then I'm going to just open and close this over and over again and just see if we can get anything out of it. That would be the dream. Oh, I just had a smidge. Okay, up, down. Oh, I got brake fluid. Oh my God. Right, up, down. Wow, heavens to Betsy's. That was potentially a little bit easier than I thought it would be. Okay, I've bled all the brakes and I can't get anything else out of it. So it's now 20 past 12. I mean, there's every chance we might be all right. Just got to get a fog light done. That's it. Joe says the brake pedal feels better, but I just feel like I want to do this one a little bit more. Now that it's playing ball, make hay while the sun shines or something. I wouldn't mind usually, but I'm going to have the missus and the dog in this car, aren't I? Anyway, okay, Joe. Yeah. Down. Yeah. Up. Yeah. Down. Yeah. Up. Down. Yeah. Up. Yeah. Down. Up, down, up, down. There's nothing more coming out of that. I think we're potentially home and dry there. How does it feel? Cool. Fog light Newith installed, looking all shiny and nice, but will it work? That's the question. That's the fog light button down there. Ignition on. We have fog light! Come on! Beautiful stuff. Right, we're flying with this. The only thing that's letting us down now is the horn. The brakes seem to work. This is great news. It's running so sweet as well. Oh my God, it just fires up on the first twist of the key. I'm so impressed that I managed to rebuild that car with no parts. Not bad. This is very nice, by the way. Little Suzuki emblem horn push. And it's inside this plastic thing here. Doesn't work, as you can see. And there seemed to be high resistance on the circuit. It was pushing 4 volts through, but not 12. And we need 12. So where is that resistance coming from? So that is ground, right? And what you are doing is when you press that, you are completing a circuit via this tab onto the steering wheel, and it goes to ground. So to test the system, let's just see if we ground that. So there is power going to there, exactly the right amount of power that we need. and the horn works, which is awesome. So the problem lies in that bit there not getting good contact, and I think it might not be getting good contact because Matty has painted it, which is fine. I would have probably done the same. So if I get the finger blaster and just give it one of these. I just love the simplicity of it. I love the way that it's just coming back to life. I am desperate for Rob to love this thing as well. I don't want him to fail this car on something. My biggest worry, right, is the rust around the front arches. It's not structural. The front arches aren't even really attached to the body of the car. They're nowhere near the suspension mountings or anything. They're not attached to them. So hopefully it's just a bit of bodywork, but that is one of my big worries. And maybe the brakes as well, they're all new. Hopefully by the time we get there, they've had a chance to bed in. I guess we're gonna find out. Let's hit the road. Just quickly, we're about like an hour and a half into this video, and if you haven't had 2 seconds to just jump out of the video and hit that subscribe button yet, if you could, I would be very, very grateful. And there's another way you could help me too. And if you want to help me out another way, well, a couple of years ago, I rescued this wonderful Ford Focus ST3 from sitting on a driveway unloved and just in really poor shape. I spent ages getting this thing properly sorted out. All the engine, belts, everything, brakes, welding, underneath, underseat, just loads and loads of jobs, tyres, you name it, I did it. Look, this car is proper. It is a really well sorted thing. And to help the channel, I am raffling this car off. This car is going. We are saying goodbye to it. It's something that I wanted to keep for a very long time because it's properly nice and clean, and it will only go up in value. But needs must, and if you want to drive away in this car, come down to the Tasty Classics workshop, pick up a big bundle of merch and drive away in your very fast 2.5 litre turbocharged Focus ST3, then go onto the website, tastyclassics.co.uk, follow the link in the video description if you like, where it says My Car Raffles. Click on that, go through to the website, it's a raffle website, put £5 in the machine and you could get yourself a ticket for this car. The draw is the middle of August. There's only a couple of weeks before this car needs its new owner for them to drive it away. So get on there, get yourself a ticket. That would really, really help me. Anyway, back on with this Suzuki build. That looks wicked. I'm taking these up to see Rob as well, and look, pick yourself one of these up from the shop. There you go, and you can put it in your car. Represent Team Sunny! Well, what else is there to say? So far, so good. I am on the road in my SJ410. Surprisingly roomy in here because the seats collapsed and I've gone down a bit. But I don't mind that. It's fine. Sorry about all the noise of the rattling round in the back as well, but we haven't put like the roof on and stuff and a few other bits, so there's still a bit of metal that is a bit loose. Sonny's fallen over in his cage as well. Idle is quite... Why is the idle so high? Why is it idling so high? Didn't bring any tools with me. Was that a bad idea? Didn't even bring my bag. Oh no. Rob will have a screwdriver, won't he? Left. Third gear is quite hard to find, but it is there, and I'm in it now. First stop is petrol station though. Let's get a load of fuel in it. I'm so nervous. It's the first time this car's been on the road in 26 years. It's a long time. Seems to be handling it better than I thought it would. Speedo works, come on. Brakes are, I mean, certainly they're working. If there's going to be a weak spot for this MOT, it feels like it's going to be those brakes though. But I don't know, maybe they just need to bed in. So look, this is a bit of a budget build for me. I've used rattle cans, I've tried to keep costs down, not buying rebuild kits when I can get away with it, and a few things like that, you know, and just sort of not really getting anything that we didn't need, just getting the stuff that we did need. So with all that being said, the MOT is 40 quid. If the passes the MOT, I don't need to buy anything else for it. So all in all, where are we up to with the price so far for this hopefully roadworthy Suzuki SJ410? At the end of the last video, £2,553.28 was pulled from my wallet, and yeah, it wasn't too bad. And the wild thing is, in this video, we haven't had that many more expenses, even though the windscreen and stuff was like an annoying cost that could have been avoided at 120 quid. But everything else wasn't too bad at all. And we've managed to bring this Suzuki SJ410, this gorgeous Suzuki SJ410, back to the road for less than £3,000. I'm over the moon with that. I really, really am. What an amazing little car. Even though we've done a lot of work on the car, there's still years of crap and dust just flying into my eyes. There's no escape. There's no windows to put up or anything. There's holes everywhere. It's fun though. Anyway, we've got almost a full tank of fuel. I'm doing 55 miles an hour in the slow lane. What more do you want? That temperature gauge is looking ever so slightly touchy. Why is that going up? Oh no, what is happening? Why is the temperature gauge going up? I did not account for that. I've been running this thing, it's been fine. Slow it down a bit to 50. Oh God, oh no, I can't put the heaters on because they don't work. I have to pull over. Oh God, pull over, my favourite breakdown spot. I've got no heaters, I can't do anything with the heaters. Look at all the crap from down there that's blown into my eyes, the motorway. But look, I am on the motorway. And it did just get really hot. Really hot, and I don't know why. Look at it there, just flying up. Oh Christ. I ran it for ages yesterday and the day before and it was fine, no problems at all. Why is it so hot now? What's happened? Oh, plenty of fluid in there, it's at the full mark. Why, oh why, oh why? Stuck thermostat maybe? Where is the... That's the thermostat there. Let's try and give it a knock with something. I've got zero tools with me. I always do this. Why do I come with zero tools? But I have noticed there is a jack here. Can I... pretty solidly in there. I've got no tools at all. Is that going down? Has that done the trick? It is going down. That temperature gauge is certainly going down. Come on. Feels hot. That's my idle problem there. There's something wrong with the idle there. I think that is continuing to go down. Okay, maybe we need to get some air going through the radiator. Let's just carry on for a little bit longer at a steady speed. Might take that stick with me, that's quite handy then. It does look like it's going down temperature wise. Ah, seatbelt. And now it's just died. Is this sketchy? It's fine. This is possibly one of the slowest cars ever in the world. And a lorry's just let me out. I'm going 40. Come on. That's 50 mile an hour. Okay. Nobody died yet. Nobody died yet. And my eyes are glued to that temperature gauge. Go down, go down, go down, go down. It's not going down, it's going back up. Come on, please. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It's going back up. Crap. Got nowhere to pull over here. Temperature gauge is rising. I've got nowhere to pull up. This is less than ideal. Right, hazards on moment, I think. Going too slow along the motorway. Hazards on. There's a junction coming up. Can I make it to that junction? It's out of gear. Engine's on, I'm just coasting. Hazards are on. I've turned the engine off. Just coasting along. It's a little bit of a downhill and then it goes into an uphill here. So I can pull up, I think, on the left. Oh no. Sorry everyone. This handbrake works. Right, it's just idling now. It's idling really slow because I just knocked that choke bit, and that's the temperature gauge at idle. Is it going to go down or is it going to go up? Looks like it's going up, doesn't it? Oh, I wish the heaters worked. the heater's worked, I could be blowing stuff through it, but oh, they've just started to work. Oh my god, they've just come to life and there's crap blowing everywhere. Oh god. Ah! And they are stone cold heaters. I have no heaters. Temperature gauge is still at the top. Oh, at least the blower motor's just come back to life though. What a result that is. Yeah, stone cold heaters. Temperature gauge is just stuck at the top. It's in the nether zone. Okay. It's just died. Shite. Heaters were cold. Means a blocked thermostat potentially, or... well, you know what the other option is. We don't want that option. We really don't want that option. It's a sweet little engine, this. We really don't want that option. Oh, I want to go to the beach. Look how nice of a day it is. I'm sat in traffic and I'm switching it off and just leaving it for a while. I'm properly sat in traffic. So it is allowing it to cool down a little bit. So I'm kind of hopeful we're going to make it to either Rob's or the next petrol station. I should have done a coolant flush on it. 100% should have, but when I checked, the coolant was just superb. It looked like someone had just done one. It was bizarre, really weird, and I thought, you know what, I can overlook that. It's not going to make any difference. Keeps dying. Yeah, obviously a bit of a shocker. Anyway, it's nice in here. Should have put some sun cream on as well, I think. How's your day going? Temperature gauge is about 5 mil away from the top. I can live with that. I honestly can. I wonder if without the heater matrix there's just not enough coolant flow around the engine for the size of the radiator. Maybe the radiator's a bit blocked. That's sort of roughly where we're at the moment when we're sat in this traffic. But I am going to keep switching it off. Here's the thing, right? I've just pulled over because it was all the way up to the H for unhappy. And I don't know. I mean, I wish you were here with me to feel this and feel like the heat coming off this. Because honestly, I've felt a lot of cars overheat. This doesn't feel like a car that's overheating. This feels... it's just a warm car that's being driven on a hot day. I'm wondering if my temperature sender or my temperature sensor is a little bit dicky. It's that there. Just clean it up a touch. I don't know. It does say we're overheating though, but let's just see how far we get. I tell you what though, one thing I do know is that this thing looks absolutely stunning. I've done a hell of a good job on that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think I've really done an amazing job on this car and I should get some sort of award. I just could hear something in here and I think there's a chicken. There is a chicken right there. Hello, chick. There is a chicken. We're just on the side of the road. You have no business being here. Chicken, what are you doing? Why is this chicken just on the side of the road? There is nothing around here. Nothing around here where chickens would be. Interesting. I've got a cage in the back of the car. Do I take this chicken with me? I mean, that looks like a farm there, though. Could be that farm's chicken, and it's just gone for a little wander. Chickens do like to go for wanders. I don't want to steal their chicken, but I have got a cage in the back of the Jeep. Is this meant to be? Am I about to adopt a chicken? Chicken, do you want to come with me? I've opted to leave it there for the time being, just because it might belong to that house. But Cheryl, who has chickens, where we're going now, I will ask her if she knows these people. And if she says they don't have chickens, then maybe we've just adopted a new chicken. Not a new chicken, it's probably an old chicken, but we've adopted a chicken. I'm concerned Sonny might eat it though. Temperature gauge just above halfway after that little stop. We haven't got far to go now. Come on, Suzuki. So I've got to Rob's. It says it's overheating, right? This is an infrared temperature sensor Rob has lent me. And we are bang on what we should be on, 90 degrees. It's not overheating at all. It's fine. Exhaust a bit hot, look. Whoa! But yeah, the head of the car, well, 100. 98, I can live with that. Much cooler on that side. Potentially a dicky sensor, I hope. Fingers crossed, doing okay so far. We're just about to put her through emissions and she's just sat here idling nicely. Temperature gauge could be worse, not showing that it's overheating, so I don't know. Guess we'll have to see. And like when I brought it in before and we put his infrared thing on it, it wasn't overheating, so temperature gauge was potentially lying. Might get a new sender for it one day. We're still here, look, at the MOT place. I'm not going to tell you how it's done yet. You're going to have to wait a moment. Rob is very kindly helping me with this idle. I've got a bit of a dodgy idle and I'm trying to work out what's wrong with it. We're all the way wound out on the idle screw, but still she idles a bit high. So we're just trying to work out what it is. I think the choke bit is a bit gummed up and it's not coming off, or it's coming off too much. I don't know. Rob's having a look at it. He's a better mechanic than me, so hopefully he can find something. Yeah, but you're making brews. Yeah, I'll have a brew. Yeah, definitely. Just tea. That's it. Milk, no sugar. Getting the car worked on and getting a brew. Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Oh, she's vintage.
Oh, nice. Snap-on timing light from 1912. Amazing.
Is that wrong?
Rob's gone a little bit further.
What do you mean?
Fucking hell. So that I've taken one of those out of this, but not that one.
Yeah.
So that one was hidden.
Yeah, how long?
No way. It was hidden underneath this thing, which I thought was a mixture screw, so I left it alone. But in fact, there was a jet underneath it. There was another one. I missed it. Turns out not as good as I thought it was. You need proper mechanic. Good brews here though. because Rob's a lot older than me, he needs eyeglasses, but he has this that he was just looking at this jet with, and I didn't notice it when he had it in his hand then, but look at that, incredible. Just a big old horn. What's happened?
So it was all full of verdigris, because obviously it's a brass jet, if you like.
Verdigris?
Yeah, all the green crap, if you like.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
Brass. So, they put a bit of electrical cleaner on it, which obviously softens and removes it, and now our jet is clear. Can't have done it, it's not going to have done any harm, but now that hole there now, it's all furred up and that now, is clearly a proper hole. Side holes there, so now we can put the airline down, put nozzle to nozzle.
See if we get anything out of there. Cross your fingers. It's not looking good. Oh. Yeah, I saw something come out of there then.
Now. This might be a bit leaning down. Well, this one a bit more roking and soaking.
A soaking and a poking is Rob's new catchphrase. If you want a t-shirt with a soaking and a poking from A51, let us know. We'll make it.
We'll take slow over no progress we had before.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've had to break out a new wire bush as well.
Yeah.
I mean, not that there was anything wrong with the old one, like. Absolutely fine, that.
That's apprentice spec, that one. You know. This is professional spec, this one here.
Oh, bloody hell, look at that.
It's a chisel.
Sorry, that doesn't usually happen. I mean, that certainly sounds a lot smoother, that, doesn't it? Oh, I thought I saw a load of bubbles then around that gasket. Do that again, go on. Ah, it's not, yeah, right, okay, yeah. Yeah. Just checking there for an air leak. Absolutely flying with this thing here. Listen to how sweet this sounds now. Doesn't look like it's missing or anything. This mixture screw here, Rob has turned it to richen it, because before he's telling me it was all the way down, which just meant that it was really, really lean. And that might have something to do with the engine getting hot. If it's too lean, too much air, engine run hotter. So with a bit more fuel, she's just ticking over like a brand new penny. And after we cleared that jet up, of course. What's it looking like on the machine?
Sort of expected to be running at 1.5 to 2. Still a bit lean, that really, but the hydrocarbons are that bit a million miles out. That's what's thinking up, just going to try and tweak it a little bit.
Amazing. This is so good. You can hear it, how much happier it is. Hello, Cheryl. On my way back to the workshop from A51 in my little Suzuki SJ410. Hope it doesn't overheat anymore. I don't know, we'll have a look, we'll find out. But she's running so nicely, so nicely. It doesn't feel laboured. The engine's smooth as silk. Rob's worked wonders there. He's done a real nice job of that. Just sounds amazing. If you've got an old car, go and see him near Tarpley, near Chester. He knows what he's doing. He's good. Thing is though, it's now Friday at 6 o'clock and none of us have done any editing for this video yet. There's so much editing that's required. This is one of the longest, most in-depth videos I've done for a while. And if you're still stuck around at this point, thank you very much. And we will get this thing to the beach, I promise. But the great news is, and the thing I'm happiest about the most, is we can go to the beach as many times as we want from here on in, because this thing has got
12 months MOT. It passed. Passed with flying colours as well. There's a couple of advisories that he had to put on there just because, I don't know, I'm a YouTuber, but there you go. It's passed wonderfully. Great. I'm so pleased. For the money as well. I'm just so pleased. What a great little car.